When it comes to politics, what do I mean? I represent a different breed, a different generation, a younger generation that's tired of politics, tired of being lied to. They see things for what they are and they move the way they move and make their own decisions. You know, what's crazy to me is when people see me and they see that I'm into firearms, I'm into guns, right? I'm a gun nut, and I'm into this culture the way I am, heavy. They automatically assume that I'm Republican. Or they look at me from the outside in and they see that, oh, he's black, so he must be 95 to 98% chance that he's gonna be Democrat. And that's crazy because when I look at myself, I say, don't you associate me with Democrat or Republican. Don't you associate me with neither. I'm none. Why is that? Because I'm an individual. And it only makes sense because my whole life I've always worked to not be under the gun of stereotypes. I've worked as a young black man to get from under a lot of those stereotypes that a culture carries every time they move on year after year after year. So if I've worked as hard as I could to be a business owner, to do things the right way, to be articulate, to understand the things that it is needed from you as a person to put and invest into a community for this society to work, then you have to also understand that as an individual and as a person, you do not need to be under any type of stereotypical box that's possibly associated with parties. When it comes to politics, what do I mean? I represent a different breed, a different generation, a younger generation that's tired of politics, tired of being lied to. They see things for what they are and they move the way they move and make their own decisions. At this point in time, politics is controlled by corporations. Duh. The corporate interests and the corporate monies invested into politics is way more than what you as an individual or community is investing in. Therefore, they will always have the upper ground and the advantage. But when I look at that, yes, the political landscape has changed. The Democratic Party of the JFKs does not exist anymore. That's been long gone. Republicanism at its base is dissolving. That's on the way out. So what's left is corporately controlled and corporate interests when it comes to politics. Be an individual, make your own decisions and your own choices. When it comes to voting, there's two ways I will vote. One way I will, one way I won't. I will always vote for my core beliefs. I'll always vote my moral compass. I will always vote my statutes, my principles. I will always vote for liberty. I will always vote my freedoms. I will always vote things that are truly common sense, that truly are simplistic in nature and make sense, direct to the cause and effect type of things that will truly make change because you're moving political correctness out the way to deal with a problem directly at its core. Some things I will not vote for. I will never, especially as a black man, vote against my constitutional freedoms. I'll never vote against my rights. I'll never vote against my freedoms. I'll never vote against my liberties. How is that? Why is that? Remember the Obama administration. Remember when people in the unions first started voting for this guy? Because naturally in Michigan, especially, unions have always voted primarily Democrat. And when they vote primarily Democrat, Barack Obama talked about closing plants and closing certain jobs out and closing coal mines. And these union guys voted themselves right out of a job. How idiotic is that? That's what I mean when I talk about being an individual and making your own individual choices. Listen, I grew up in the 80s, born in 85. I've lived and grew up in back-to-back recessions. My whole life, we've always had to fight, to hustle, to work. I've had a W-2 or a 1099 every day in every year of my life since I was 16. You have to work, you have to hustle, you have to own business, you have to sell. So trust me, when I see a politician with a suit on, it's easy for me to see a businessman in a suit. It's easy for me to see a businessman in a political suit, a wolf in a political suit. And my only hope and my only prayer is that you have the ability and the comprehension to be able to see that same thing.